Hello my beautiful friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. I am Sherilyn and I am so glad you found me. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you for joining me every single upload. You already know I love and I appreciate you so much. I hope everybody had an amazing new year. I hope you guys had fun celebrating the holidays, however you do that. I am feeling really rested and refreshed, but I want to tell you, I don't feel like it feels like a new year. I'm like coming into it like with like a new lease on a new week. I guess I'm feeling just motivated, excited. There's all of these things that I've been looking forward to for the new year that are slated. A lot of travel, going to visit with more families of victims. I'm going to CrimeCon UK. I will talk more about that later. Hopefully going out to meet some other creators. I'm just really jazzed. And I feel like this year I don't really have a resolution. I'm not like, oh, I've really got to, crack down and change that, or you failed at this last year, Sherilyn. My motto of the new year is focusing on setting goals that I know I have control of and that I'm able to attain, realizing and accepting that my big goals, like my vision board goals, are different than that. So trusting in everything there, allowing that to just be out there, be vulnerable for all of that, and then setting goals that I'm going to be like proud of myself for doing. Because I think like a lot of times I set goals for myself, but it was like things that are out of my control. And those I'm learning are not goals, but they're like aspirations. I mean it's obviously like a long-term goal where I'm like, I'm going to accomplish that, but I have no power over certain things. So that's how I'm going in. I'd love to hear what your guys' view on the new year is this year. I feel like everybody is like, not everybody, it was actually really split, but I feel like a lot of people had a really amazing 2022, and then I guess this is like every year, and then other people are like, I can't wait to get out of 2022. So where do you fall? And what are you focusing on going into the new year? All right, let's get right into today's video. Before we do though, I have a quick message for you. Before we get started, I want to give a huge thank you to our sponsor today, Dipsea. Here's the question. What is your love language? Is it physical touch? Is it words of affirmation? Personally, for me, it is time together with my husband. Knowing that is really important, but also knowing that people get turned on in various ways. And Dipsea has invented a whole new way of exploring your love languages with sexy stories for whatever mood you are in. If you've never heard of Dipsea before, it is an app full of short, sexy audio stories designed for women by women. They really bring scenarios to life with their immersive soundscapes and realistic characters. They have all types of stories, whether you're somebody who likes to discover stories about adventurous vacation flings. Maybe you're more of a second chance romance type of person. And there's nothing wrong if you're wanting to look into some hot and heavy hookups. The nice thing about Dipsea is that they have new content weekly. So in between listening to your favorite stories, maybe over and over again, I don't know, you'll always be able to find something new to explore as well. For my Sippendales, Dipsea is offering an extended 30-day free trial. All you have to do is go to dipseastories.com/Sherilyn. Once again, that's 30 days of full access for free when you go to dipseastories.com/Sherilyn. Why not let Dipsea be your go-to place to spice up your me time, explore your fantasies, relax and unwind, or heat things up with your partner? All right, we're going to get right into it. Today we're doing another TikTok reaction video of the TikToks that you guys tagged me in. I'm really glad that a lot of you were so receptive to it last time. And I didn't realize how many people weren't actually on TikTok to go and see these videos. So I love being able to allow a different platform to gain exposure for people who might not be getting seen because there's just not the audience for it. Also just want to give a really special thank you and love you to everybody who headed over to TikTok later if you did have TikTok and sent so much freaking love and support to pretty much everybody that we featured on the last video. I had almost every single one of them reach out to me to thank me for sending you guys, saying how amazing you all are, and just like how much more energized and reinvigorated they were to keep fighting. So you guys are amazing. I hope you know that. If you want to go and check out the videos that we are talking about today, I'll have it linked in the description, and I will make sure to put a reminder on my phone to make sure that I am putting the links in the description. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes videos are ready to go. I have an amazing team helping alleviate some of the tasks that I have to do and editing, and they get things ready for me, and then I'm like so excited that I'm like, okay, let's just go live, and I myself have not done my duty and due diligence of updating that. So thank you for reminding me. If you notice that I've forgotten something in the description that I said was going to be there, don't feel like you're, you know, calling me out and being rude. Like I genuinely sometimes forget. So thank you. I will, hopefully when you look at this right now, the description will be updated. All right, here we go. Okay, hold on. I have to go back a slide here. Okay, so if that was going too fast for you, sorry guys. It says, this is my incredibly kind and loving little brother. His name is Evan Michael Cockerham. He's been missing in the Los Angeles area of California since December 6th. So, oh my gosh, almost a month. He was carjacked and held against his will for a number of days before barely escaping. He called us from a library in the Palos Verdes area of California to tell us what happened. His phone call was cut short and he has not been heard from since. Please help this go viral by liking, commenting, and sharing his missing posters on the latest slide. You can find all our social media accounts for him on my Facebook. My name is Tristan Nelson. And then here is the missing persons flyer. Okay, well, I'm going to be looking into that, because what in the actual shit is going on here? What do you mean he was carjacked and then all of a sudden phone calls cut short and not heard of? Oh my gosh, this is devastating. I've got to go look deeper. I want to see if there's anything. Oh, so this page was made, I believe, with him and his sister. It says, me and Evan made this page together. Oh, there is an update on here, you guys. So it says, again, there is a request to go to the video, like it, comment, share it to help boost the algorithm. And then it says, we finally have an official missing persons report. We've deleted all of our previous posts, so the only thing that's circulating is the actual missing persons report with all of the current info, as well as the contact info for the detective assigned to the case. Please continue to share and spread the word. We are working together as a family and have made our way to California to do everything we can on the ground here. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I guess if you guys are in the California area, if you're able to reach out to the family and see what kind of support they need. Like I said, I mean, even if you're not able to do that, I always say, like, just go share, like, comment. You do an amazing job at that anyways. Let's help get this word out.
My sister was a 21-year-old nursing student at the University of Massachusetts. On February 9th, 2004, she emailed her professor saying there was a death in the family. Then she got into her 1996 Saturn and went to an ATM withdrawing $280, stopped at a liquor store, and then headed north. At approximately 7:30 p.m., a 911 call was placed stating that there was a vehicle off the side of the road in Haverhill, New Hampshire. A local bus driver stopped by the vehicle and asked the driver if she was okay. The driver stated yes, and that she had already called AAA. This was not true because there's no cell phone service in that area. At 7:46, an officer arrived on scene to find an abandoned, locked vehicle with a rag in the tailpipe. Maura was nowhere to be found. She seemingly vanished into thin air in the matter of minutes. There were no footprints in the snow. There have been no credible sightings. There have been no cell phone or bank activity since. My family has been searching for her for 18 years this February. If you have any information on the disappearance of my sister Maura Murray, please contact the New Hampshire Cold Case Unit at the information provided below. If you want to learn more, please give me a follow. Thank you so much.
I feel like I've heard about this case before. Instantly, this just made me think of Skye Budnick and her family, her sister Megan. It's been so many years for both of them, and their sisters have just vanished without a trace. And really the only leads that they have to go on are these ominous clues leading up to it. But the first thought that I always go to in these situations, when you hear kind of like this outline, you might think that it was Maura's intention to not be here anymore. But then if that's the case, then why has she never been found, you know? And then with the rag in the tailpipe, you'd assume if that was your method, like you would be in the car when the car was found. This is extremely puzzling. And having spoken to Megan gives me such a deeper empathy for these families because they don't have answers. It's just speculation. They don't know if their loved one was hurting. They don't know if they're no longer here or if somebody took them and because they were in a vulnerable spot at the time. This is just like, it just breaks my heart. It looks like Julie updates a lot about her sister, so she has so much information over there if you want to go and check it out.
Hi, my name's Rebecca. I'm looking for my 2 children, Amina and Bilal Candiel. They were taken in 2014, brought to Turkey, and are probably in Egypt, maybe Saudi Arabia at this point. My kids were 8 for Bilal and 10 for Amina when they were taken. I don't know what they look like now, but the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has put together various age progressions. So these are the series of pictures for Bilal and then also for Amina. And that gives you an idea of what they may have looked like over the years.
That's fascinating because like it actually does look like them.
Bilal is 16. He's going to be 17.
I should clarify, like based on the pictures of them younger, I don't know what they look like now. Maybe we'll see here. I don't know.
He's going to be 17 in January. And Amina is 19 years old now. So much older than they were when they were first taken. And they looked like this. So Amina and Bilal, if you're out there, do get in touch. And if any of you think you've seen my 2 kids, please get in touch with me. I'd love to hear from you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, is there more here? I feel like, you know, if there is any way of finding her children coming across this, it is social media. My gosh, I hope they come across this. I'm going to see the most recent one.
Hello, everyone. It's Rebecca. I am still looking for my 2 children, Amina and Bilal Candiel. Both of them were taken by their father over 8 years ago and disappeared into Turkey. There's been some indication that they're probably in Egypt at this point. And a lot of those tips are coming from people like you. I wanted to take a moment as this year wraps up to thank all of you for all of the tips that were sent in, for the pictures from Facebook, from Instagram, from TikTok, for all of the great hints and stories that you've been sharing. It's been incredibly helpful. And while I don't have any concrete updates right at this very point that I can share with you, it is really interesting to hear what you have found and also to pass that along to people who may be able to do more with that information and really help. It's been incredibly reassuring in this long process to hear from you and to have the support and just sort of the global community that is sharing concern. So thank you all for all of the hard work that you're putting into this. And I'm hoping that 2023 is the year that I get a chance to at least be back in touch with my children. It would mean so much to know that they're alive, and maybe to even hear their voices. Thank you all, and Happy New Year.
My freaking heart. Oh my God, Mama. Oh, this is when I really, you know, it's that love-hate relationship with social media. I mean, look at how, like, you can just reach the masses if you use it positively, you know? There's so much good that can be done, so much bad that can be done too. It's just such a double-edged sword. It looks like the writing is like kind of covered by her name, but now I can see they must have been featured on Unsolved Mysteries Season 3, Episode 9, which reminds me, I have not updated or gotten up to date on Unsolved Mysteries, and I can't believe that. So I'm obviously going to go check that out now.
I am absolutely enraged by something that's going on right here in my community, and I wanted to share it with you. A trigger warning, this story is about SA. So if that is a trigger for you, here is your warning.
I'm nervous.
The anger.
Sabrina.
In the middle of 2021, a 26-year-old man groomed, lured, and plied a 15-year-old girl with alcohol and then assaulted her. The next day, a DNA test was done, a kit was done, It was proven exactly who it was. There was a confession. There is no question that this was done. No question at all. No question that he knew the age of the victim. No question he admitted and confessed to all of it. During the course of all of this, the district attorney's office met with the victim's family and the victim herself. The district attorney's office has been wonderful through this whole process. And said, listen, they have come to us with an offer of a plea deal and said that he would be willing to plead guilty to a lesser charge of lustful touching, but that he would spend 8 years in jail as part of this plea. And the family thought about it, and the district attorney's office said, we would only bring this to you to help keep her off the stand, so she would not have to relive this in open court and be interrogated and questioned. We don't want to put her through any additional trauma, but if you do not want this deal, we will not do it. The victim's family agreed, and when it came time for them to go to sentencing and for him to allocute, the Judge Deborah Blackwell, Natchez, Mississippi.
I need to take a freaking breather right now because I already know where I don't know because I haven't seen this video yet. Based on what we know from this channel, what I talk about so much on this channel about SA and predators getting a slap on the wrist, I am assuming that 8 years, his sentence didn't even come close to it. Let's see though. Oh, Sabrina girl, I got your back. We should start an army.
Denied the plea deal and instead kept the lesser charge of lustful touching of a juvenile and sentenced him to 10 years suspended, meaning he will never serve a day in jail. He will never go to prison for what he did.
What?
The worst part, that's awful, that's horrible, that's gut-wrenching and awful, but here's the worst part.
No.
Direct quote from the judge to the victim.
I know, I'm already nauseous. I'm literally freaking nauseous. What the, oh my God, I can't.
I'm going to read it. Bad things happen to good people, and you're just going to have to move on. The defendant took a plea to keep you off the stand, and that's commendable.
Oh my God, you got my palms are sweaty. No.
The judge looked at this little girl, and said, you got to move on. He did a good thing by telling on himself.
I'm sick. She says right here, I'm just pausing this, is it any wonder people who are victimized do not come forward? He goes free and she's victimized again by the judge. I am sick to my stomach. Oh my gosh. Okay. This has got to stop. I can't even. I'm sweaty and I'm just like, oh my gosh. There was literally an article written about this. I've got to see what the comments say about this on Facebook here. Why can't I find the link? Let's Google, huh? All right, from what I've seen, there is an article written that the judge is being called out on social media. It's like, yeah, she should be. You guys just Google Judge Deborah Blackwell, and any of the articles that you see come up about this case, just blast that. Just be like, hey, should she not be disbarred? This is okay. I'm sick.
What I think happened to my mama and why she's been a missing person since 2011. My mom has a family member that is married to someone we will call Leroy. My mom and Leroy hardly ever got along unless it had something to do with illegal substances and illegal activities. Well, Leroy works for the trash company, going around picking up all the trash around town. So Leroy gets free trash anyways, but Leroy said that he needs to dig a big hole in the backyard to bury the trash so he don't have to pay trash fees. Now, I don't know about y'all, but trash ain't even that expensive if you do have to pay it, right? Like, I think you'd have to spend more gas working a backhoe and stuff to dig a big old hole. But what do I know, right? So Leroy digs this big hole in the backyard. And he puts trash in it. And he burns it. And then Leroy turns that big old hole into a pond and puts fish in there. Tell me why he made the whole thing concrete before he even put the water in there to turn it into a pond. Maybe that's how you make a pond, but that seems suspicious to me. So what do I think about my mama? I think she's down underneath that pond covered in concrete. And yeah, I have told my mom's investigator about it, and she said that she thinks so too. But she can't do nothing about it without a search warrant to be issued. So we're just kind of sitting here hoping somebody says something, which it's been over 10 years. I don't know if anybody's ever going to say something. Dang, I wish I could just go over there and dig up that hole and just find her. It's so infuriating. It makes me so angry. Just, I don't know. But anyways, that's where I think my mom is, and that's what I think happened to her.
Okay, like, this is where I always have to remind myself, Sherilyn, like, you can't just commit, crimes and do illegal activity, which it would be for me going there, even if the intention is correct. But where I get frustrated with so much in talking to numerous families, like countless families at this point, and hearing about the injustice and how hard and long they have to fight behind the scenes before they are ever heard, taken seriously. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. We protect so many awful people in this world, and I don't know why. Trey, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I may be implicating myself here, but I would not be opposed to a late night dig session. That's a joke for legal purposes, but also, again, joke. All right, we have 2 more.
We are finally getting some very hard to come by details on the case of the 4 infants who were found deceased in this Boston condominium. And if you're saying you don't remember hearing about this case, you would certainly be forgiven. Because for some reason, at least in my opinion, it seems the police and the media are trying to really keep this on the down low. But fret not, because I'm going to continue covering this case on my page.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are not familiar with this case, on November 17th and 18th, 4 infants were found deceased inside a freezer in this home. When I first heard of this, I thought this was going to be a major news story. But for some reason, this case never got the media attention you may expect. Now, a month out from this discovery, police have still not released a cause of death or any suspects. However, we now know who owned the unit where the bodies were discovered and how the discovery came about. Alexis Aldemir bought the unit in 1983 and had recently been taking care of her mother, who also lived in a unit in the same condominium. All seemed normal until earlier this year when a neighbor noticed a gas smell on August 15th coming from Aldemir's unit. When police entered the unit, they found Alexis disoriented and confused and with a gas stove running inside the room. Alexis was ultimately diagnosed with dementia and sent to live in a medical care facility. Alexis's mother, Jeanette, whom she took care of, was moved into a nursing home. And that leads us to the discovery of these 4 frozen infants. On August 17th, Alexis's brother arrived in South Boston to clean out the units of his sister and his mother. Supposedly, while cleaning out Alexis's unit, he noticed something odd in the freezer. Among further examination, he realized what he found was a deceased infant wrapped in tinfoil inside of a box. He immediately contacted the police, and among their investigation, they found 3 additional infants also in the freezer wrapped in tinfoil. All we know about the infants at this point is that it was 2 boys and 2 girls. I just believe this case deserves more attention, so I'm going to keep you updated on my page if anything new comes out.
What the fuck? Why don't we hear about this? I didn't hear about this. Did you hear about this? Oh my gosh, like what? What happened? And the fact that he said she was diagnosed with dementia, correct? Were both of them diagnosed with dementia? Are they not saying anything because there's not going to be able to be like a proper investigation because they wouldn't remember? Oh my gosh. Because it said that they have been in that home for like ever, right? They're like, I mean, you would assume it's their freezer, and that if they've been there for ages, they would have looked in the freezer. Oh my gosh, what the hell? Okay, well, definitely going to be following him for updates. All right, a last one.
So I found out that there's a true crime section of TikTok about my own sister. So I want to talk about her.
All right, before she even gets started, I don't know what she's going to say here, but I just want to say this is exactly why I encourage anybody who wants to make true crime content, who watches true crime content, who comments on true crime content, to keep this in mind all the time. Every single time you're researching, you're sharing something, you're commenting on something, the people that you're watching a story about, it's not a story, it's somebody's real life, and they have a family. And most often, their family is going to come across the content. So it is really important that you're aware of that, because anything that you say incorrect, accusatory, I mean, I'm talking in terms of like victims. I know that there is content out there that has victim blamed, and it's not always necessarily the creator. I try to do the best that I can with my amazing lifelong best friend, my soul sister, Sienna, who keeps up in the comments to make sure that no one is disrespecting a victim or their family, because I know personally from family members who have reached out to me, or friends who have reached out to me and thanked me for covering the case and getting exposure for it, that I know that they're watching. So I always want to make sure that when they're looking at the comments, because I know that they do that as well, they're not going to be re-victimized and re-hurt. All right, so let's hear from firsthand. Sorry, I just went on a tangent.
Content warning for horrible things being done to children and unaliving children. That's content warning. So my sister Marianne was 13 years old in 1997. Our home life was terrible, and she ran away, and predators took her and did horrible things and unalived her. You can Google Marianne Measles if you want details, if you have good intentions. Don't do this just because you think it's neat, because there's something seriously wrong with that mindset. Anyway, she was a child, and I was 6 years old. She was 13 years old when that happened. The media was horrible to my sister, making it seem like she was much older than she was, and that basically bad things happened because she deserved it. It was very horrible. The media was absolutely terrible, but they never knew what was going on behind the scenes. They just said, oh, she's a runaway, she's a bad kid. No, not the case at all.
First of all, before we even find out like what the actual true story is, who cares if she was a runaway? Why does that always equate to, oh, like they're delinquent, they're a runaway, they're a bad kid? Most often when somebody is running away, it's because they're running away from a bad situation. You don't run away from something good and healthy. And you know what, even if you did, is it a crime to be a runaway? No, it's not. It's usually a cry for help. So instead of victim blaming them, why don't we try to dig in and see why they were in that situation, what they were running away from?
So this is me. Well, my system. We have DID. There are many souls that live in this body. And yeah, so anyways, this is us speaking to the camera reporters. This is, yeah, she looks happy and loving, right? No. Looks like she's gonna, pow me. But that's because we had a horrible, horrible life. My sister ran away because we were being abused. Physically, mentally, emotionally, not having food in the house, not having support or any other adult around to protect us from this person. Yeah, it was horrible. And my mom gets painted in this light that she's the victim here, oh, your baby was taken away. But all of the media outlets refuse to see that the reason my sister left was because of her. It was because of the abuse, the physical abuse, and not having food and not having necessities for survival. It was literally a survival move. I just had to set the record straight for these true crime people who kind of paint my mom in this victim light, when in reality, my mom was the catalyst and the reason why my sister was unsafe in our home and left. And the reason why I have dissociative identity disorder. This story is so much more nuanced than people understand or than the media will show. And we have to talk about it.
Oh, That's heavy. I can't imagine how hard that would be to put yourself out there, be that vulnerable, talk about something that you probably don't want to talk about because you're still fighting for your loved one's character. I mean, and we need to see more of that content, more from the victims' families, so they feel like they have a voice. So amplify those. It's not easy to make a platform off of content when it's just, you know, one specific story continually. So when you're talking about one case specifically all the time, it doesn't always get the reach that I know that I'm lucky that I have. So like I said, the more that you head on over there, give it a like, give it a comment, it helps engage that reach even further than it could just by simply putting it out into the universe and hoping that somebody sees it. All right, you guys, this is it for today. Thank you so much for tagging me in all of these. I hope you continue to do it. I hope that you continue enjoying watching this content because, like I said in the first one, there are so many cases that I don't know about and that I didn't hear about, and that we, you know, like we're always learning, almost feel like they are not getting the right exposure for whatever reason and being suppressed. So important to listen to these stories and share them and spread them like wildfire so more people are aware to all of the things that are happening. I think that it's important to share it, you know, like on your own social media as well, even if it's something that you don't normally talk about. And it's because it generally will reach people who don't watch true crime content. And it's really those people who are going to be the biggest help in having change made. Because if they're not always watching content or reading a news article and hearing about, you know, a judge who basically told a 15-year-old victim that bad things happen to good people, but you got to move on. Like, they're not getting enraged, and we need those people to get enraged with us. So keep doing what you're doing. Go and send that Sip and Deal support. Know that it's working. Like I said in the last video, I think every single person reached out to me and thanked you all. Thanked me for putting it on the platform. So thank you. All right, that's it for me today. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It means so much to me. I have big goals. All right, but I've got to remember, goals are my goals, but I got some big aspirations for this year. We've got some big moves on the vision board, but I need your help. So like the channel, subscribe to it, share my content if you can. It really means so much to me. I will see you in the next video. I will miss you terribly. Until then, make sure to love each other, love yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye.